Hi, my name is Nikolai Kasige. I am from Longmont, Colorado, where I played football for the Longmont High School Trojans. I was very fortunate to receive a Daniels Fund scholarship and am currently studying at Colgate University in New York. Last summer, I interned at the Positive Coaching Alliance in Colorado and led a research project on PCA and its work training youth sports coaches that develop character in youth and high school athletes. Positive Coaching Alliance is a nonprofit with the mission to be a catalyst for positive youth sports cultures in communities across the United States. In this country, kids drop out of sports on average by age 11 due to a lack of fun and often because of a nasty coaching style that comes with a win-at-all-cost mentality. Coaches are so obsessed with winning that many kids have a terrible experience. Both coaches and parents often fail to understand why kids want to play sports in the first place. When they drop out, what's lost is their chance to build confidence, develop work ethic, and help boys and girls learn to aim high in life. When you have a coach that fills a kid's emotional tank, notices the things they're doing, and recognizes them for that, then you have a kid that can't wait to come to practice. They can't wait to work hard, and they can't wait to have a challenging game where they can show what they've learned. There's a lot known about how to get the best out of kids from sports psychology research and the practices of best coaches. PCA boils down the research and transforms it into a framework of tools and content for youth sports coaches. PCA delivers live workshops to engage and educate coaches with the goal of changing the culture of youth sports so that every kid can have a positive, character-building experience in sports. In PCA coach workshops, a trainer kicks off by asking a coach to remember an influential coach in their life. After sharing positive memories, coaches are asked how they want to be remembered by the kids they're coaching today. You can often see the light bulb start to go off around the room as coaches consider their legacy and the opportunity they have as youth sport coaches. Today, we celebrate the awesome power of positive coaching in youth sports. Nothing can change the trajectory of a kid's life like a positive coach can. Here's NFL's Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young at a recent PCA event.
I look back on all the years and all the experiences. The things I appreciate is what you guys are, what PCA touts is that the richness of athleticism and the heart and the things that you can learn and the things that will make you a better human, and you pass that along.
Steve Young is a PCA National Advisory Board member, as is his interviewer, 1999 World Cup champion Julie Foudy. Listen to one more clip as Julie asks Steve about the importance and opportunity of teaching life lessons through youth sports.
How important is it when you see these coaches sitting up here and the work PCA does?
So what's happening there is the great important place where all our kids are learning how to be, how to act with each other, how to interact, how to expect, what to do, how to deal with failure, success, all happening right there. And the coaches are really the ones that are the mentors, the experts. And if they have the expertise to deal with what's the beautiful thing that's happening right in front of you, the development that happens to every kid that plays, that participates, and it starts very young. And so if every coach is empowered and has the tools, the toolkit, to show people, to show kids and give them ideas on how to deal with different experience, different things, all of a sudden you're paying it forward so much for a whole generation of kids. With PCA, I've been like, we have got to get this everywhere. Every human who coaches or talks about it or thinks about it has to be exposed to PCA.
Steve Young calls for youth sports coaches to be empowered with a toolkit, and PCA is the organization that is delivering. PCA has been training coaches to be positive, character-building coaches in Colorado since 2012, when the Daniels Fund, a philanthropic foundation, invited PCA to open a chapter in Colorado. One of the best examples we have of a coach changing the trajectory of a young person's life is indeed Bill Daniels, who was influenced by a youth sports coach, his high school coach, at the New Mexico Military Institute. For his junior year of high school, Bob and Adele Daniels enrolled their son in the New Mexico Military Institute, hoping its discipline and structure would channel Bill's energy to productive pursuits. Encouraged by his mentor and coach, Dave Godfrey, Bill thrived in athletics, playing baseball, football, basketball, and boxing. For 2 years, he was an undefeated New Mexico Golden Gloves champion. Of Coach Godfrey, Bill Daniels said, "I've tried to follow his principles. When things are going bad, that's when to work 3 times as hard." Coach Godfrey also taught Bill Daniels what it meant to compete on a team, to rely on others, and to win together. The bottom line is, Bill Daniels never forgot his coach, or the difference one person can make in turning around another person's life. Bill Daniels went on to be an American pioneer in the field of business and to leave a legacy of the power of youth sports coaches like Coach Godfrey. PCA trains coaches on the double goal coach model. The first goal is striving to win. The second and more important goal is teaching life lessons. The following set of coaches are examples of double goal coaches. Let's hear from them as they talk about coaching, why it's important, and what it means to them. Through these testimonials, the power of a double goal coaching comes to life.
When kids are in a sports situation, it's very emotional, and you have ups and downs just like as in life. So we build a lot of character through those tough emotions of losing those tough games. Heck, I think you learn more from losing than you do from winning in a lot of ways. It's all in how you handle it. By teaching them to practice self-discipline and keeping emotions under control, using good judgment, common sense, there's no substitute for hard work. And worthwhile results come from hard work and careful planning. So when we teach kids that and how to manage time, etc., I think they can take those skills with them and carry them into the real world when they're on their own. If we have high expectations in place, oftentimes our kids will feel it in practice. Teach character. And teach it big time. Teach loyalty, cooperation, enthusiasm, honesty, resourcefulness, adaptability. I want to be a positive influence. Now, I'm not going to say I'm perfect because I am far from it, but that's my goal.
I think that makes a big difference, just having a lot of coaches that really care about kids and what happens to them, not just as an athlete, but as a person in general. I just met a guy that I coached back in 1983, just recently, and he said if it wasn't for me, he would have probably not turned out how he turned out. And I never realized that. Kids just probably pick up a lot more from a coach than coaches realize. Sometimes I don't realize that I'm affecting their lives that much, but I'm sure I do somehow, some way. That's just become kind of like a thing now for our seniors to do. They always go find somebody else, an underclassman or somebody who's struggling, and make sure they take care of them somehow, some way, and kind of bring them along or give them a little extra attention all the time. And that's something that all of my coaches expect from their kids that they coach. I stress team unity so much. It's almost a daily thing that we stress that. So, yes. I think they're there to not only want to do good for themselves, they want to help do something for the good of the team and for the good of the school. We're really strong in that area, and I think that's one of the reasons we have so much success, because kids there just want to do well for the community and our school.
Theme of our team is servant leadership. And I mentioned that to you in terms of just the expectation that my seniors serve the rest of the team, that they view that as their role and their responsibility and their privilege. And that we don't ask ninth graders to do a ton of things early on. We let them come into the program and feel loved, and it's not like you got to work your way through this pecking order. It's we try to make sure we value every single member of the team. Being just having to win young people and work at that and figure out different ways to communicate and connect, and the message is pretty much the same, but it's new material every year that you get to work with. And so that part keeps it incredibly rewarding. It's incredibly rewarding. It's the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. When positive adults recognize those things, kids want to be noticed. They appreciate it. What I'm looking for is that moment of kindness when I saw that person show some patience with a sixth grader at the sixth grade meet. And my whole season is me looking for those kinds of moments that I'm going to recognize when I get to the year-end banquet.
They learn a lot about time management and teaching them the different tools that they can use for time management. The other thing I think it teaches us, specifically females, is how to be a little more aggressive. I think there's life lessons that they learn in softball. Well, any sport, you can do this. How many times does a coach say, come on, you can do this, let's work through it? I think it gives them a place to escape. If they're having a hard time at home, having a fight with a boyfriend, having a fight with parents, I think it's a good place to escape to and kind of take their aggressions out on the ball, or having some fun with their friends, forget about things for a little bit. And I have to teach them about being leaders. Like, what does it mean being a leader? Because they think being a leader means bossing everybody around, a lot of times in their head. It's like, yeah, that's not what leadership is about. But it is a skill that has to be developed. Some kids can definitely lead just by example, by their athleticism. And usually those athletes are very quiet and just lead by example. But that's not always what a team needs. Some teams need different types of leaders. Hey, let's split up the different pieces of the leadership that this team might need. We practice shaking hands. We practice making eye contact, because that's also important in life. Not only like when you're trying to get a college scholarship and you're making a conversation with that college coach, that is one of the very first things they look at is, do they have the confidence to make eye contact? Do they have the wherewithal to introduce themselves and have a good, firm handshake? And that seems so small, but you would be surprised at how many kids really don't have that skill. So I make them practice it with their teachers. They practice it with the coaches. We have a practice session with the principal at school. I know one time we also played another school that had just started softball in their school. The coach was not a softball coach. The game was over very early, and instead of just, hey, bye, see you later, we talked with the coach about maybe doing a softball clinic right there, right then with their team. Like, hey, how about if we do, split the girls up and maybe do a little bit of individual work with each girl on how to become a better softball athlete. There's more to the game than just playing and winning or losing.
We don't really know what our character is until we struggle or we go through some sort of adversity, and then we realize our areas of weakness and our areas of strength. So I think it absolutely develops character and really shows us what we need to improve on. Every team, if you've coached for a long enough time, you go through a season where maybe one of your players are going through some personal issues. Maybe they had a death in the family, or they had to miss some time because of health or injury, things like that. Those kind of setbacks really allow their teammates and their coaches to come and rally around people and help that person get through it, which really forces the team to kind of connect and grow together. and it forces them to really see how they can be used, and their talents as athletes can be used to really impact other people. And it also shows them that they've got some responsibility, because as an athlete in a big school like this, they're viewed as a leader and a role model, and that a lot of other kids look up to them, and that's a responsibility that we want them to take very seriously. And
you can give an incredible effort in a sport and still experience failure. That's a good thing. It's what's hard about it, but it's a good thing, because it gives us, the world is competitive, and it's sometimes difficult, sometimes it's not fair, and I think you get to experience all of those in sports. We all get a chance to, again, win with grace, lose with dignity, and it just puts people in a pressure situation where it reveals kind of where your heart is. Teamwork, discipline, commitment, and they take great dedication. I think people learn, or players learn within those sports, that sometimes other people do let you down. Hopefully they learn more about how much interdependence is needed and how you need other people in order to succeed.
As you can see, coaches have a powerful positive influence on kids' lives, and they do so when they care so much about the kids they coach. Let's have one final set of comments from the coaches, all of whom are double goal coaches. PCA is working hard to make sure more coaches across Colorado can be like them.
I've always wanted to be a coach. Ever since I was in high school, I always looked up to my coaches and I said, God, they look like they're having so much fun. That looks like the coolest job in the world, to just be a track coach or a cross-country coach, whatever, and I just like to be around kids and watch them do amazing things.
As a coach, there is nothing like better than when I see a team it's beautiful. It's like a piece of art. And whatever they started with, like when they put it all together and it works, it's the most incredible feeling.
I just love seeing kids grow and learn and get better, and how they develop down the road in life, and working through difficult situations. I love a challenge. It gives me joy to be in the gym in practice. I'll be 68 in a couple of weeks here, and I don't see myself slowing down for a while.
That in common, we love young people. We love them. I mean, I don't always like them, but I do love them, and I see the potential, and I see the challenge of. I mean, there's that challenge of drawing out that potential.
I just like being involved in that process of growth and maturity, and so that's really exciting for me, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Only one team per year can win a state championship. And if that's the only thing that you think that's going on out on that field, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I think there's more to it. Creating memories, watching the girls remain friends for lifetimes. That's pretty cool stuff.